Today's an amazing day because I'm gonna review the best Canon camera under $800. Yes, the T7i. In this video, I'm gonna tell you why I think this is such a fantastic camera. This camera, this model is what I started my company with 5 years ago, the T2i. Prior versions of this, do I believe in this camera? Yes. Yes, it'll be my biased opinion, but you can trust my opinion. Why? Because there's been years where I've bought dozens and dozens of cameras in one single year, and I know cameras because I've spent and wasted a lot of money on the wrong decisions to finally get to the right decisions. Before you guys buy a camera, make sure you rent and try the camera first. My good friends over at lensrentals.com, they're nice enough to offer a coupon code to save you money before you buy. So before you buy this, go ahead over there, check out the selection and try it. The first thing I like to do before I even turn on a camera, the first time holding it, it's like when you're riding in a new car, how does it feel in your hands? Why is that important? Because that's where it's gonna be all the time, and you have to feel comfortable with this. It's like clothes shopping. If it don't feel good, don't put it on. This camera feels great. Yes, I said that in a shocking voice because it cost a lot less than other cameras. I wasn't expecting the feel of this camera. Now, a lot of the body is gonna be plastic. That's okay because plastic doesn't scratch like my metal cameras do, which look like heck. The grip is substantial. For me, that's important because let's just say I've dropped my cameras a few times. If I've dropped my kids as many times as I've dropped my cameras, I probably wouldn't have my children anymore. So a good grip is a good thing to have. Some of you are throwing around, should I get a point and shoot camera or should I bump up to this? When I'm saying point and shoot, I'm talking about things like the Canon G7X or the Sony RX100. I always would prefer getting one of these just for the feeling. And what I mean by that is the more professional feel, the more feeling of you have control over all the manual functions of the camera. So this is a more professional camera. Again, this is how I started making money with this exact camera, but before. Of course, a manual setting, the only way that I shoot, you have complete control over your f-stop, your shutter speed, your ISO, and those things are key when you are professional and you're making money. When speaking of the buttons, if you had a lot of cameras, I mean, this is like the rest of them. There are some out there now that are coming with just a record button. That's awesome. This has a record button, obviously, so you can record, but you know, not one of those big buttons that have record on top. It does, however, have a feature on top where you switch it straight to movie and it immediately turns on and it's ready to start filming immediately. That's something that even my expensive cameras don't have. Next I'm gonna talk about is the LCD screen, and yes, it is touch screen. You know, a lot of these last couple videos I've been doing on these cameras, I've been saying like, hey, whoop-de-doo. But now that I've been playing with so many cameras that have touchscreen, I'm starting to like it. And in this iPhone, Samsung phone, Google Pix, whatever other kind of phones there are out there these days, they're all touch. I mean, there's no more buttons. It's becoming a part of who we are, and it is a natural thing. So having the touchscreen, to me, I'm starting to like it. I'm gonna have to re-record some of my older videos because it actually is pretty nice. Now, would I trust this for focus? Would I trust it, you know, if I was with a client to hit the button with my finger and focus? No, I wouldn't. I would never, ever trust that. But in a lot of settings, it's just really nice to be able to switch back and forth with your ISO, switch back and forth your shutter speed, just with a click of a button. And because we're so used to it, it's easy and quick, very user-friendly. This is actually surprisingly user-friendly. Now, this is something that's huge with the LCD screen. It flips out. Yes, we know that. And is this important? If you're asking yourself, should I go with another camera like the A7 III or something else that doesn't have a flip out screen? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm looking at myself on a monitor because I do not have a flip out screen, and it is a pain in the butt to have a monitor everywhere you go. Is this tiny? Is it small? Can you see yourself if I was filming myself there? No, I couldn't. But what matters is, am I in frame? I've done these videos where I've cut my head completely off because I could not see myself. This monitor is key. Now, the best of the best in the industry, I've tried them all, I've worked with them all. Canon, in my personal opinion, makes the best LCD screens, especially when it comes to the flip part. They do it best. This feels solid. It doesn't feel janky. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break. It goes just every single direction that you would need it to go. I don't know why you need to go actually all these directions, but it can do it. It does all of these directions. Any direction you need it to go, it goes. It makes filming so much easier. The next thing that's important to somebody like me, even though I'm a manual focus kind of guy, there are instances when autofocus is very key. When somebody's walking towards you, you wanna get photos, when you're taking photographs of sporting events. And then of course, if you wanna use this as a vlogging camera, how well does this thing stay in focus on my face. It stays in focus pretty good. And I got glasses on. A lot of times cameras have a real hard time focusing on people when they have glasses on. How do I know this? Because I have glasses. Inside of this, they have the dual pixel autofocus. To me means absolutely nothing because I've been doing this so long that I know that next year they'll have the quad pixel autofocus, the 10 pixel. They will have something new every single year and they'll come up with a new creative name to call it. What matters is, does it autofocus? Does it focus on a subject? Can it stay on a subject? Does it keep with that subject? And does it work just about every time? No camera's perfect, but how close is it to perfect? And that's what's important to me. And this thing seems to do a very good job at staying on my face, connecting with me, and that's what I'm filming a lot of times, especially when it comes to autofocus. For me, it's usually gonna be people. It's gonna be something moving, but usually people. Now, the next thing I'm gonna talk about is something that's a necessity for me, something I must have on my cameras because I don't know how you could function without it, especially if you're doing video, of course, is a microphone jack. This camera has it. A lot of cameras don't have it. You have to spend a lot of money, a lot of times with different camera companies to get a microphone jack. For example, I think the A6300 is the first camera that Sony offers in this style of camera to be able to get the audio jack, where this camera is much less than that, and you have an audio jack, which is so important, especially when using shotgun microphones, and we have a bunch of them and use them all the time. Because the truth is the audio never sounds good out of the camera raw. These cameras aren't built with really good microphones. But with a simple shotgun microphone on your camera, this thing really can sound stellar. Very professional. In fact, when using these outside, I found that I prefer this over almost anything. If there's not a ton of wind, these microphones are my favorite. Some people complain because it doesn't have the headphone jack. Now, headphone jacks, I've been doing this for a long time, over 5 years now. We make over 100 videos a year, and I never, ever use headphone jacks when it comes to my camera. Now, if it had an XLR, like professional hookup, I mean, I'm probably more prone to go ahead and buy some exterior audio that I will put in and sync later in post than worry about headphones in a camera like this, or even one of my cameras, which is much more expensive with headphone jacks. I've never used the headphone jacks in my camera, so if that's one of your deciding factors, take it off your plate, because to me, it's something that's totally not necessary. Does this camera have 4K? No. Does it matter? Absolutely not. I have 100 clients a year, 0 of them have requested 4K this year. That's all that matters. If that's important for you, don't get this camera. It does, however, film 1080 at 60 frames a second at 60 megabits a second. The 60 megabits a second basically means how hard can you grade this thing. Not that hard, but I'll be honest with you, one of my favorite things about Canons is their color. Everybody's talking about filming in log these days. I don't like doing that if I don't have to, because that's just extra work for me. If you want to really make it look like you, then go for it. But I'm all about speed in most cases, and this thing has the most amazing color right out of camera, and that is a very good thing, especially for a beginning filmmaker or photographer. This camera is a crop sensor camera, but you know what that means for you is you're not gonna be able to film or take photos in very, very low light, but that'd be like being upset that you bought a 4-cylinder car and it was not fast enough for you. It's still mind-boggling how well this thing performs in low light. In fact, here's a sample.
Top gone red, I made a name for myself. Can't lie, I'm doing well for my age. My dogs said they're praying on my downfall. Well, they just choosing the casket, now they souls in the grave. I'm a star right, gotta bark right. I induce pain, I am Luke Kane, mix a Bruce Wayne. I'm a Dark Knight, watch you stargaze. Got a hard bite, I'm a dog.
Some things I would use this camera for. Can I make cinematic things with this camera? Absolutely. Could you use this for professional work? Yes, you can. Does this thing take photos well enough to be able to go on a professional photo shoot? Yes, it does. It shoots in RAW, 24 megapixels, 24.2 actually, and that is plenty good enough for a photo shoot. I really do feel if you do get this camera, you will thoroughly enjoy it. It'll be an amazing decision. However, don't trust me. Go to lensrentals.com, try it before you buy it, because if you get it, you are stuck with it. But if you rent it, you can just return it and move on to the next camera. If you guys like this video, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you did not like this video, still smash that subscribe button and tell me what camera you want to know about. Please, before you buy, ask me, because I've probably already made the mistake of buying the wrong camera already that you're looking at right now. And I can tell you, hey, that's a waste of money, or that's something you should buy for what you want to buy it for. Comment your questions below, and I will see you guys soon.